Imagine dedicating your life to serving others, only to be mistreated and humiliated daily, not because of what you've done, but simply for who you are. Rosa, a dignified African maid, endured relentless prejudice within a rich family's mansion. But one day, a small act of compassion, a rescued dog hidden from sight, sparked an incredible chain of events, uncovering dark truths and igniting a battle for justice that would change everything. You absolutely cannot miss this powerful story of injustice, courage, and redemption. Before we start, leave a comment below and let us know your thoughts on Rosa's incredible journey, or share where in the world you're watching from. We'd love to connect with you. Sunlight streamed softly through the ornate windows, illuminating the elegant dining hall adorned with crystal chandeliers and antique furnishings. Rosa, a dignified African woman of 65 years, her face marked by lines of resilience, carefully placed polished silverware onto the luxurious table. Her dark eyes carried the weight of countless humiliations, yet shone with a quiet strength. Helena entered gracefully, her luxurious gown flowing, blonde hair perfectly styled, eyes piercing with unhidden disdain. "Rosa," she said sharply, her voice echoing intentionally loud, ensuring Rosa's humiliation was public. "You might feel comfortable in those filthy villages back in Africa, but here, cleanliness and perfection matter. Don't embarrass us again." Rosa felt heat rise to her cheeks, humiliation burning silently within, yet she stood with dignity, eyes fixed downward as whispers from guests filled the room. Later, in the mansion's expansive kitchen, Rosa quietly peeled vegetables, the rhythmic motion soothing her aching heart. Her hands, gentle yet strong, showed the toll of years spent serving others. She glanced toward a small photograph tucked carefully in her pocket, her family back in South Africa, their smiles a distant comfort. Suddenly, footsteps startled her. Alicia entered shyly, holding something wrapped tightly in her jacket, her youthful face flushed. "Rosa," Alicia whispered urgently, glancing nervously toward the doorway. "I found this dog abandoned in the street, dirty and frightened. Mother hates animals, especially dirty ones. Please help me hide him here. You're the only one I trust." Rosa's heart softened immediately, empathy glowing warmly in her eyes. Carefully, she took the trembling dog from Alicia's arms, sensing his fear and vulnerability mirrored her own hidden struggles. That night, hidden within a small room at the back of the mansion, Rosa gently bathed the trembling dog. Warm water flowed quietly, washing away dirt and neglect. She whispered softly, comforting him in her native Zulu. "We are both outcasts, but you are safe here with me." For the first time in weeks, a faint smile emerged on Rosa's lips, feeling a brief yet profound joy from helping another creature in need. Her gentle hands carefully dried his fur, and he looked at her with gratitude, sensing kindness in her touch. Alicia watched from the doorway, her young eyes wide with admiration for Rosa's compassion. "Thank you, Rosa," Alicia whispered softly. "No one else would understand." Rosa nodded gently, sharing a silent yet powerful bond forged by their mutual compassion for the innocent animal. Over the next days, Rosa secretly cared for the dog, feeding him, soothing him, and finding joy in his recovery. Each night after finishing her chores, Rosa would quietly retreat to the small hidden room to nurture the dog and speak softly about her homeland, sharing stories of strength and courage passed through generations. Her voice held warmth, resilience, and a hope rarely shown openly in the oppressive atmosphere of the mansion. Alicia visited regularly, forming a bond of trust and respect with Rosa. Through these small hidden acts of kindness, Rosa felt briefly visible, her dignity subtly restored, even as Helena's sharp words continued to cut deeply during daylight hours. One morning, as Rosa finished meticulously dusting the grand piano, Helena stormed into the room, eyes blazing angrily. "Rosa," she snapped harshly, voice dripping with disdain, "I've noticed food missing from the pantry. Have you been stealing from us?" Rosa's heart raced, knowing the stolen food was for the dog. She stood quietly, her voice firm yet respectful. "Madam Helena, I have stolen nothing." Helena stepped forward, eyes narrowed accusingly. "Don't lie to me, Rosa. You Africans always think you can take advantage of our kindness. If I catch you stealing again, you'll regret it." Rosa swallowed her pride, anger burning quietly in her chest at the injustice, yet outwardly she remained composed. Helena turned sharply, leaving Rosa alone, humiliated but resolute. The quiet injustice hung heavily in the air, deepening Rosa's resolve to protect the innocent life she'd hidden away. Days passed, each heavier than the last as Rosa endured silent glares and whispered accusations from Helena. Despite this, she maintained her dignity, meticulously performing her duties while secretly caring for the rescued dog. The small creature thrived under Rosa's loving care, becoming a gentle symbol of quiet resistance and hidden strength. Alicia's visits became more frequent, bringing Rosa books about animal care and spending hours learning from her, quietly absorbing Rosa's wisdom. Yet tension remained palpable. Rosa knew discovery was inevitable, each moment of joy shadowed by the fear of Helena's wrath. One evening, Rosa prepared dinner for the family's guests, carefully arranging each dish to perfection. She felt pride in her work, even amidst the subtle hostility that surrounded her daily. As guests complimented Helena's hosting skills, Rosa remained invisible until a loud, sudden bark echoed from the hidden back room. Her heart froze as silence engulfed the dining hall. Helena's eyes narrowed instantly, suspicion flaring. "What was that?" she demanded coldly. Rosa's heart pounded violently. She silently prayed for the dog to quiet down. Alicia quickly interjected, "It must be from outside, Mother." Helena's piercing gaze met Rosa's fearful eyes, and in that instant, Rosa knew her small sanctuary was dangerously compromised. After dinner, Helena stormed into Rosa's quarters without knocking, eyes filled with accusation and anger. "What have you been hiding, Rosa? I warned you about your dishonesty," she hissed venomously. Rosa stood protectively in front of the trembling dog, her small frame resolute yet vulnerable. "He was abandoned, Madam Helena." Rosa spoke softly but firmly. "He needed help. Alicia only wished to save him from suffering." Helena laughed bitterly, contempt dripping from her voice. "So you involve my daughter in your petty schemes now? You Africans truly have no shame." Rosa's eyes flashed briefly with anger, pain swelling in her chest from the injustice, yet she remained steadfast in silence, knowing any argument would deepen the punishment. The next morning, Helena's punishments began. Rosa found her chores doubled, forced to clean relentlessly from dawn until late into the night. Helena deliberately created messes, humiliating Rosa publicly by making her scrub floors repeatedly in front of guests. Yet Rosa endured, carrying out every task with quiet dignity. Alicia watched helplessly, guilt heavy in her eyes. In rare quiet moments, Alicia would offer apologies and encouragement, whispering softly, "Stay strong, Rosa. Your dignity inspires me." Each act of cruelty deepened Rosa's resolve, strengthening her inner spirit despite physical exhaustion. One evening, after yet another exhausting day, Rosa found Alicia waiting anxiously by her quarters. Alicia held a folded piece of paper, her young face a mixture of excitement and apprehension. "Rosa," Alicia whispered, eyes shining brightly, "I submitted your story secretly to an international human rights organization. They're interested in helping you and bringing awareness to the injustice you've faced." Rosa's heart surged with a blend of hope and fear. She stared at Alicia in disbelief, deeply moved by this unexpected act of courage and kindness. For the first time in years, Rosa felt seen, not as a maid, not as an invisible object, but as a person whose story mattered profoundly. The initial spark of hope from Alicia's revelation soon faced the harsh reality of Helena's oppressive control. With each passing day, Helena's suspicion grew sharper and her tactics more ruthless. Rosa's every step was closely monitored, her interactions with Alicia restricted. Yet Rosa, fueled by newfound courage, persevered silently, her spirit refusing to be broken. In rare, quiet moments, Rosa whispered softly to herself words she once heard back in her village. "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that." Those powerful words of Martin Luther King Jr. resonated deeply within her heart, keeping her determination alive despite the rising hostility surrounding her. Tension peaked one afternoon when Rosa found her small sanctuary violently disrupted. Helena, furious and triumphant, stood in the room's doorway. Beside her stood Frederick, expression indifferent, while Alicia watched in horror. Helena's voice sliced harshly through the silence. "Did you really think you could hide your secrets from me, Rosa? This filthy animal and your pathetic little games are over." Helena gestured sharply, signaling a servant to take away the frightened dog. Rosa's voice cracked with desperation. "Please, Madam Helena, don't punish the innocent. He's done nothing wrong." Helena smirked cruelly, savoring Rosa's anguish. "It's not about the dog, Rosa. It's about you finally learning your place." The loss of the dog devastated Rosa deeply, yet she remained dignified, masking her sorrow behind a veil of calm endurance. Alicia visited Rosa in private, eyes glistening with tears, racked with guilt. "I'm so sorry, Rosa. This is all my fault," Alicia whispered painfully. Rosa gently took Alicia's trembling hands, her voice steady and comforting. "You did nothing wrong, child. You showed me kindness and humanity when no one else did. That gift alone has changed me." Their bond, stronger now than ever before, brought Rosa a quiet strength amidst growing darkness, reinforcing her resolve to confront her suffering with grace. Late one evening, alone and reflecting deeply, Rosa received an unexpected visit from an elderly neighbor who sometimes brought fresh produce to the mansion. The wise old woman had observed Rosa's quiet suffering from afar. Sitting beside Rosa, she spoke in a gentle, wise voice. "Remember, my dear, in our darkest moments, we find our greatest strength. Do not let your oppressors define you. Let your spirit speak louder than their cruelty." Her words, calm yet powerful, resonated profoundly within Rosa's heart, sparking an internal awakening. Rosa realized that true strength wasn't about enduring quietly, it was about courageously reclaiming her dignity. Inspired deeply by her mentor's words, Rosa began discreetly documenting each act of injustice committed by Helena. In the late-night silence, Rosa meticulously wrote down her experiences, determined to speak her truth. Alicia assisted quietly, bravely smuggling paper and pens into Rosa's quarters, united in their quiet rebellion. Rosa felt an emotional shift within, no longer merely surviving but purposefully resisting, standing firmly on the edge of reclaiming her power. Her careful documentation became more than just proof. It became her silent voice, whispering fiercely to the world beyond her isolation. As weeks passed, Rosa's quiet determination intensified. Each carefully documented injustice became a tangible reflection of her resilience. With Alicia's discreet assistance, Rosa managed to secure the hidden collection of evidence safely away from Helena's watchful eyes. Yet fear lingered constantly beneath Rosa's composed demeanor. Every interaction carried risk, every whispered conversation with Alicia fraught with danger. Still, Rosa stood strong, her dignity slowly evolving from quiet endurance to an unyielding resolve for justice, each act strengthening the once hidden spirit within her heart. One afternoon, Rosa was unexpectedly summoned to the grand living room. Her heart pounded violently as she entered the ornate space, finding Helena standing stiffly, face pale with fury, holding Rosa's hidden notebook filled with evidence. Alicia stood helplessly nearby, eyes filled with guilt and terror. Helena's voice trembled with barely restrained rage. "You deceitful woman! After everything we've done for you, this betrayal..." Rosa's throat tightened painfully. Her meticulously documented truth was now exposed, and punishment would surely follow. Helena stepped closer, voice chillingly calm. "You're fired, Rosa. I'll make sure everyone in this city knows exactly who you are, a liar A thief and a traitor. Devastated, Rosa left the mansion, her small bag containing everything she owned. Outside the grand gates, she stood alone in the cold, dignity wavering under the weight of public humiliation. Suddenly, Alicia appeared, breathless from running, tears streaming down her face. "Rosa, I'm so sorry. I never meant for this to happen," Alicia cried desperately, reaching out to her. Rosa gently embraced the girl, voice strong yet tender. "Don't blame yourself, Alicia. Sometimes courage comes at great cost, but we must never regret standing up for truth." Gathering her strength, Rosa walked away, uncertain but resolute, her steps guided by newfound clarity and determination. In the days following her dismissal, Rosa struggled but refused to surrender. Guided by Alicia's earlier submission, representatives from the International Human Rights Organization arrived, providing legal support and ensuring Rosa's story reached global attention. Her testimony began to circulate, shedding painful light on the injustices suffered in Helena's household. Public outrage swiftly grew, sympathy and admiration pouring in from strangers, moved by Rosa's dignity and resilience. Encouraged by unexpected solidarity, Rosa prepared for the final confrontation, ready to speak her truth openly, no longer hidden behind silent endurance. In a packed courtroom, Rosa stood with profound dignity, facing Helena's defiant gaze across the aisle. Cameras flashed, capturing the poignant moment as Rosa spoke clearly, her voice resonating powerfully. "I was never invisible. I was ignored. My dignity isn't defined by the color of my skin or the labor I perform. Justice sees no color, only truth." Silence enveloped the courtroom before erupting in emotional applause. Helena sat stunned, her authority shattered publicly. Rosa's courage had changed everything. Stepping from the courtroom into sunlight, Rosa breathed deeply. Free at last, eyes reflecting powerful redemption and hope. Yet, one final question lingered. What would Rosa's new life bring? To discover Rosa's inspiring next chapter, subscribe and explore more empowering stories on our channel.